Hi everybody, welcome to Yoga with Anadil. I am Anadil. Thank you for joining me today for the next in our refinement series, where we break down into the finer detail of a particular pose to really get the tips and the deepest benefits from each of them, so that we can move into them more safely and then move on into other poses. So with that in mind, today we are looking at Uttanasana, which is the forward fold. Uttanasana translates to an intense ut, stretch, tan, and asana, which is the pose. So we'll begin by standing in Tadasana. And you can check out the tutorial for that to set up nice and strong before you move into this forward fold. Otherwise, you can take your feet together with the mounds of the big toes pressing in against each other, or you can take your feet hip distance apart. Having your feet hip distance apart just allows a little bit more ease in the balance, and is maybe where you want to start before you move in with the feet together. So just a little recap of our mountain pose. So we engage the feet by spreading the toes, gaining weight in the center of our feet, so from the heels and the toes and left and right, and we draw up the energy in the legs. Now this is really important to engage the front of the body, the kneecaps, the quads, so that once we fold and stretch the hamstrings, that we're protecting them during the stretch, because if we're passive in the front of the body, we risk overstretching and injury into the muscles at the back, namely the hamstrings. So we'll stand feet together or hip distance apart and engage the front of the body, and that includes gently drawing in the navel, and this is important when we begin to fold. I'd like us to today begin by holding on to our hip points and pressing the fingers in and the thumbs holding you nice and firm, and you can draw the elbows and the shoulders back without flaring in the ribs. Remember the strong corset, the strong core. And we keep lifting through the crown of the head to create space in the spine, which is essential for our forward fold. So here we breathe in, lifting through the chest, the crown of the head, and as we breathe out, we really anchor through the back of the body, including the heels, keeping the front of the body engaged. And we breathe here. Now, as we keep breathing in and out, maybe on your out breath, you begin to hinge from these hip points. So really hold your hands into the hip points and draw them back. And you'll begin to feel the tailbone rising to face behind you to begin with. So we're lengthening through the tailbone, we keep pressing the hands into the hip points, and this encourages the navel to stretch. We want to keep drawing in the navel here, because an active front of the body, remember, protects the back of the body, namely the spine, the back muscles, and we keep inviting the crown of the head to move forward. All the while, the legs are still engaged. I personally like to keep a subtle bend in the knees, because, as with all of our yoga practice, any locked joints tends to put a lot of pressure into the area. So as we fold forward, we keep hugging the navel in to protect the back of the body. We keep drawing up through the kneecaps and the quads to protect what's now beginning to stretch as you forward fold. So let's just wait here for a moment. Maybe you've come down about halfway, so you have a tabletop back, and you may begin to feel the stretch through the hamstrings. Keep drawing the navel in, keep taking the tailbone back and the crown of the head forward. And you breathe here. This could be enough, in which case you can rest your hands onto your thighs to help support you a little bit more here. Otherwise, take another big breath in. Make sure you're active through the front of the body. And as we breathe out, we keep hinging from the hip points, and now your tailbone is beginning to shine up towards the sky. Keep a little bend in the knee if you want to. And there will come a point where the natural curve of the spine may take over. You may already have reached there, and you've come as far as you comfortably can through the stretch of the back of the body, the hamstrings, maybe up further into the top of the legs. And if you have, and it's feeling a little bit intense, as is the name of the pose, take more of a bend in the knee. It's perfectly fine to do that as you begin to ease into the pose a little bit more and more. Now keep lifting and hugging the front of the body, the navel into the spine, and then this helps you reach the heart forward. So wherever you are, bend the knees as much as you need to, hold the hip points back, shine the tailbone up, the crown of the head is still long, maybe it's heading further down towards the earth now, and you keep breathing in and out as you allow the weight of the head to fall as far forward as is comfortable for you. Once you've landed to your maximum fold, where you can still breathe, keep engaging the front of the body, protect the back of the body. You can now slide your hands down for a bit more support. So the hands may want to rest onto the shins. Maybe they curl around holding the back of your the backs of your legs on your calves. And you'll feel let's feel the weight of the head begin to get heavy. Allow space in the top of the back, but keep drawing that navel up and then extending through the heart and the spine down towards the head. Maybe your hands reach down, your fingertips onto the earth, and please remember it's okay to have a bend in the knee. Don't worry about taking the head towards your legs. What we're working towards is keeping the front of the body active and then releasing a little bit of the weight in the top of the body to create space in the spine to allow the crown of the head to be heavy. And this is where the hands may rest on the earth. Don't worry if they don't. You can still protect yourself, support yourself, by holding the backs of the legs. But resist that temptation to curl in the spine and hug in. Instead, keep remembering to lengthen the belly button up as the heart makes its way down. And here we stay and breathe. It's this activeness alongside the open breath and releasing through the back of the body, remember the tailbone is shining high, that begins to open space safely and in time without injuries, without overstretching into these fibers. I personally, once I'm in my deepest extension, and I've spent a moment there to be really honest about where I am, I like to just kind of move and nudge around with my breath. And this may be shifting the hips from side to side, this may be shifting the weight back and forth, it may be that I explore bending the knees a bit more or lifting the knees and quads up to strengthen and lengthen through the legs slowly. But I do it mindfully and I do it slowly alongside the breath, so you have the option to explore a little bit into that space while you're there. The more dynamic versions of this are where the the palms start to reach down towards the earth, and no matter where you are, if your fingertips are down, you can begin to just extend through the heels of the hands, the wrists, to make an effort, an honest effort down towards the palms down towards the earth. There's other options where you can, in time, hold your two peace fingers around the big toes, press the big toes down, you open through the elbows and you invite the head down. As long as you're not cranking into these poses. Now, wherever you are, bring your hands, slide them back up on towards your knees or maybe the hip points. And as you breathe in, take your gaze forward, your elbows up towards the sky, and in the same way we came down, let's hinge from the hips. Now really draw that navel in, heart forward, shoulders back. And you can rest halfway, otherwise you keep breathing in as you reach on up to standing in your Tadasana. So I hope that this has given you a little bit more of a breakdown of how to work safely into your Uttanasana, your forward fold, which is used often especially in flow classes, and is often the really first big opportunity to engage full body awareness in our foundation poses. So if you did enjoy this, please do give it a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel, Yoga with Anadil, and hopefully I'll see you there next time. Thank you. Namaste.